Did you call bank? I call game.
Video was made possible and sponsored by MMOCS. Buy cheap NBA 2K MT at MMOCS.com. Use my promo code PACG and you can get a 5% discount. What is up, Pack Nation? It is Pack here. And NBA 2K19 is about to come out, and when NBA 2K19 actually comes out, there's an important decision that you're going to have to make, and that is what team you're going to play for in MyCareer. It was announced that in MyCareer, you're going to be able to pick which NBA team you play for first. That was already announced. So the question I'm asking is, which team do I pick? That's all going to depend on which position you choose in NBA 2K19. So in this video, I want to talk about which teams you should play for in MyCareer depending on which position you play for. This list will go like this. I'll give you the main team you really should play for, and then I'll give you a couple other options that are kind of similar or like a same situation. I mean, we're using logic here. But the only way you can do this is if you own NBA 2K19. And if you're like, Pack, I'm broke, don't worry, because I have my NBA 2K19 giveaway that will end on September 7th in straight up 2 days. So if you want to win NBA 2K19 for free, all you have to do is subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter, and then tweet at me done. Once you do that, I'll put you in a randomizer and you can win it for free. So I'm gonna get this video started with some prelude gameplay in the background. Let's go. So I am going to start off at the point guard position. The first team to mention for the point guard position, the best team you could possibly use for the point guard position is the Utah Jazz, in my personal opinion. Listen, here is a picture, right, of all the ratings for these teams, or at least the starting ratings for the team, right? We have a 77 Ricky Rubio for this team of Donovan Mitchell, Jingles, Derek Favors, and Rudy Gobert. You have Donovan Mitchell, who was even arguably Rookie of the Year last season. People have that argument. Joe Ingles, who is a surprisingly good player. Derek Favors, who's always pretty good. And then Rudy Gobert, one of the best defenders, or the best defender in the NBA, depends on who you ask. A great team, and Ricky Rubio. Now, Ricky Rubio is not a bad point guard, but he is the lowest rated player on this team. And this is almost an entirely 80 overall team besides Ricky Rubio. So if you change him with a good point guard, aka you are going to ball out with this team. And now I know it sucks because you're going to be in the West and it's going to be even harder to make the playoffs, but if you're good in 2K, you should win this championship easily. You will be winning games, which means more VC, more players that can catch the ball, more assists, which means again more VC, better defense, more VC. That's all that matters, is VC, baby. Another team that you can pick that's kind of in the similar situation for the point guard spot is the Pelicans. Now this one's a little different situation. There's actually two players who aren't in the 80 overall club. It's Antoine Moore and Elfrid Payton. Now, Elfrid Payton has a higher rating than Antoine Moore, but that does not mean this is a bad team to pick. If you have a good point guard, let's say you get your point guard up to 90 overall, you're going to have a 90 overall point guard. 85 overall, Drew Holiday, one of the better two-way players in the NBA. You have Antoine Moore, which isn't great, but I'm sure you could pick up someone later on in the game. You get Julius Randle and Anthony Davis. That's a raw team. Dude, Anthony Davis and you are going to ball out Lob City with Drew Holiday. This is a good team to pick as a point guard, but it's not the best one. Personally, I think the Jazz are the better team to pick for that. Now I'm going to move on to the shooting guard, okay? So now I'm going to say specifically, there are two teams. This is the only one I'm picking, two teams that you could pick that would be perfect, right? The first one is the Milwaukee Bucks. Look at this team, 80s overall, almost everyone. Brook Lopez isn't an 80, he's a 79, but he's pretty close. The only player that is not good enough is Tony Snell. Replace that with your baller shooting guard, and what are they going to do? You have Eric Bledsoe, your player, Chris Middleton, Giannis, who is the future of the NBA probably, and then you have Brook Lopez. Dude, this team was going to be ridiculous, disgusting, and then you're going to keep getting better with Giannis. It's just going to be OP. You don't mess up at all with this team. But the other team that you could pick, if you're like, I don't really want to pick the Bucks, you can pick the Raptors. Look at, you got 85 overall point guard Kyle Lowry. You got 94 overall Kawhi Leonard at the small forward, Ibaka at the 79, and 82 overall Jonah Valanciunas. But look at that shooting guard, Danny Green. Now, Danny Green's not the worst possible person to be a shooting guard, but he's not an 80 overall, which is almost everyone on this team. So you replace him with a great shooting guard on your team. Oh my gosh, this team is going to be ridiculous. But I don't see why you wouldn't pick this. Another option you can pick for shooting guard is the Celtics. People were saying that you should probably pick the Celtics if you want to be a center, but Al Horford is an 86 overall, an 84 overall is Jaylen Brown, and Jaylen Brown's technically a small forward and you want him on the bench. So you could have an amazing 90-ish overall shooting guard that will be your player, and this team will be unstoppable. They'll almost be as good as the Warriors. And then the other team you can pick is the Lakers. The lowest overall player in the Lakers is the shooting guard position with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, a 76 overall. Now it's probably going to be Lonzo at the point guard really, but still you're going to have your 90 overall shooting guard with LeBron, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo, and then JaVale McGee. That's going to be ridiculous. Not the best team you could pick with a shooting guard, but it's not the worst one either, and you get to play with King James. I mean, it's cool. Now moving on to the small forward position. Okay, I think this one's actually a pretty easy pick, and I think this will be kind of a surprise to some people. The best small forward position team to pick is easily the Denver Nuggets, right? 81 Jamal Murray, 83 Gary Harris. You have 79 Will Barton, and then 82 Paul Millsap, 89 Jokic. So replace that 79 overall with some like 90 overall player, and dude, everyone on this team is good. Literally. Again, you're going to be in the West, but it's still going to be constant 80s and 90s for this team. Your team's just going to be way too good. Like, who's going to be able to stop you, really? But there is another team that you could pick, and that is the Philadelphia 76ers. They're all basically an 80 overall. I know JJ Redick, Robert Covington, and Dario Saric are all 79s, but if you have your amazing small forward in the 90s, you're going to have 3 players that are almost a 90 overall, and then 2 players who are almost an 80 overall. And that's still a ridiculously good team, and you're in the East. You're guaranteed an NBA Finals appearance. And you got to play with basically young talent throughout the board, so you're going to grow, because the only person that really isn't that young is JJ Redick, but you could be a small forward, Robert Covington, ball out with this team. What are they going to do? You could also be with the Pelicans, as I mentioned before. I'll quickly talk about this one. You have Etwan Moore right there, 75 overall, so you replace him with your amazing like 90 overall player, and you have an amazing team. And then the other one that I think is kind of a sleeper is the Mavericks, right? You have 78 overall Dennis Smith Jr., Luka Doncic, who some people believe is going to be Rookie of the Year, right? And then you get your 90-ish overall besides Wesley Matthews, and then you have Harrison Barnes and DeAndre Jordan, and then you have Dirk also on the team. Dude, this team is ridiculous. Now on to the power forward. There's a lot of teams you could pick for the power forward position, but this is easily the best one. No doubt the power forward position should be the Houston Rockets. You have Chris Paul, James Harden, Carmelo, Clint Capella, and then you'll have your 90-ish overall player over PJ Tucker. And yes, I know everyone's like, oh, Carmelo's garbage. It's still a 79 overall on the game, in the team, almost an 80 overall. This team will be stacked 3 90 overall players on one team. Bruh, they're as good as the Warriors. Not really though. So if you're power forward, easily you play for the Rockets, easily. But you're like, man, I don't like H-Town, or I want to be in the East. Well, then there's the Wizards, because you have 80s across the board, except for the power forward Markieff Morris. So replace that with your good power forward, and this is also a ridiculously good team. Like, really think about that. 89 John Wall, 87 Bradley Beal, 81 Otto Porter, and then your power forward, and then like Dwight Howard, who is supposed to have a higher rating, but he's an 81 right now. That's a ridiculous team. And then there's another team that's just like that, and they're called the Timberwolves. Yes, Jeff Teague is a 79 overall point guard, but if you have a ridiculously good power forward, Jimmy Butler, your power forward, and Karl-Anthony Towns are all almost a 90 overall, and then Wiggins is an 81, and then Jeff Teague is 79, and oh my gosh, buckets. And I guess there is technically one more team you could pick, and that is the Oklahoma City Thunder. Okay, think about this, right? Russell Westbrook, Paul George, who are both almost in the 90s, and then your player at the power forward in the 90s, and then Steven Adams, who's an 84, and then Andre Robertson, who's a good defender. That's a ridiculous team. You're still gonna have Andre Robertson, but I mean, hey, you have 3 90 overalls on a team again, and Steven Adams. It's kind of similar to the Rockets situation, except the Rockets have a better bench. But yeah, it's pretty solid. So for the center position, I'm actually not too sure about this one. I picked the Lakers. Now, I don't really think this is the best possible situation, but the Lakers wouldn't be a bad team. Again, you would have Lonzo, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, LeBron, Brandon Ingram, and then you would have your like 90-ish overall center, and that's a good team. But I also believe you could pick the Bulls. Now the Bulls have an 80 overall Zach LaVine, 81 Jabari Parker, 82 Lauri Markkanen, and then you also have almost an 80 Chris Dunn, and then you put in your center over Wendell Carter, and you almost have an all 80 overall across the board plus your player. It isn't the best team to use, but I mean, hey, you can make the Bulls good in the game. And then another team I kind of thought about was also the Spurs, because you have Dejounte Murray, who's a 78, Rudy Gay is a 78, DeMar DeRozan 89, LaMarcus 89, and then just replace Pau Gasol with your great center. And this is also a good team. You honestly, for the Spurs, you could also either be a point guard, small forward, and or a center. But those are kind of your options. I believe those are the best teams you can use for each position. That's what I think. And that is it for this video, you guys. Do you guys agree or disagree? What team are you going to play for? Leave it in the comments below. And if you like my channel, give it a sub. And I'll see you guys next time.
Did you call bank?